Hey, hi, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Conversations with Jeff, where our mission is to bring guests in and myself with messages from all over the world around the power of the comeback, right? Sharing their experiences, their strengths, and giving you some empowering solutions. You out there that know you're meant for more. You out there that are looking for the next level steps that you can use to get to the where know you need to be, right? Taking those empowering solutions and putting that on top of what I believe is the most impactful gift that we all have, guys. I say it all the time, right? It's that conversation you're having with yourself about yourself. How's that working for you today? Are you on top of that, or is that holding you back? Is it encouraging you, or is it holding you back? Are you on fire because of the messaging that you're giving yourself? Or are you like I am some days where it's just like, man, I just need to get through the day. Right? It's that stinking thinking that runs nonstop, 24/7. The grooves are deep. I mean, it's from way back when, and we help you get that figured out where it all came from. What's the real root of it? But I just want to talk about just daily stuff that goes on in this thing up here called the brain. That 2 million-year-old brain that's designed to can keep us safe. That's designed to, oh, hey, be careful. It's designed to do whatever we want it to do. And that's what I want to tell you today, right? How are you spending your time on this piece, that mighty mind of yours, right? Are you willing to put the work in to change that conversation, to begin a new conversation, to stop listening to the, fill it out, put it in the chat. When you start thinking about this thinking that you have going on, what usually comes up? Is it about rejection? Is it about some failures? Excuse me. Oh, man. I'm about to pass out over here. I'll be all right in a second. So, excuse me, this happens. We're going to keep it moving, though. If my voice goes in and out, I'll be back. So, what was I talking about? Yeah. I was asking you, what is it? What is the chatter that runs in your head that keeps you stuck? Put it in the chat and let me know. And for those of you who don't know my name is Geoffctyson, and I'm known as the Comeback King. And I got that name from people over my lifetime. You have seen me overcome things like this, losing my voice as I'm beginning a conversation, but it's going to come back. Or many other things in relationships and athletics and business and in community, right? And this just being resilient on chasing the purpose, resilient and understanding that, man, from watching my parents, man, who two powerful people, right? That they had a dream and a goal and a vision, and they focused on that every day, and they worked hard on that every day, and there was no stopping them from achieving those things, right? And I learned that through observation and applied that in different parts of my life, and have helped hundreds of other people over the years do the same thing, right? So, man, I got to go into this before we move on to why I'm here today. And I want you to think about the answers, right? When you look in the mirror, for those of you who hear me the first time, for those of you that know what I'm going to say, hang in and ask the question, put it in the chat. When you looked in the mirror this morning, who was the person looking back at you? Was it your hero, your inner hero, or was it, we call it the inner villain, right? There's two conversations going on nonstop all the time. Who was running the show this morning? And either way is okay. I'm just asking you to be aware of it, number one. And number two, right? Number two, be that disruptor of that thought. Right? Saying, wipe your face, whatever you got to do, wipe your face, clean it up, right? Clean it up, man. And then look back in that mirror again and then begin to tell yourself and see yourself in a different position, right? I'm grateful to be up and alive. I'm grateful to have another opportunity. I'm grateful for all the mistakes that I made yesterday because I learned so much from that. Bring it on again today, right? It's about how we see things, how we feel about them, how we talk about them, and how we act. Right. So let me know how it is for you in that space in the chat. Right. And then let's get to why I'm here today. And I made some notes on it, like always. And it's really the world is really kind of crazy. There's a lot of chaos going on in different places, and people have all types of feelings, all kinds of emotions. So you can get just about whatever crazy you're looking for. And, and it used to be a time when we ran into different people, we had different objections. It was a peaceful conversation, right? Or you just agreed to disagree and went on about your way, or you didn't feel threatened. But, sometimes today it's a little different, right? So I asked the question, difficult people, how do you handle them? And I want to speak from a perspective from the workplace, from your family, right? And just in the street, just, people that you walk by. I mean, everybody's got different ways of doing this. So drop them in the chat on ways that you have had success, right? I'm going to just talk about 3 things. And there's so many more, but I'm just going to list the 3 things that I applied. I learned how to apply over the last 30 years, right? And it's sprinkled with spiritual principles and how I think and how I speak and how I act, right? And so let's get busy getting to what we're talking about today, right? So number 1, actually, I wrote a quote in there. By giving unconditional love, we become more loving. Right? By giving unconditional love, we become more loving. Who doesn't want to become more loving, right? Oh, man. How much better would the world be if we shared more love? How much better would the workplace be if we shared more love? How much better would your family and your community be, right? If each and every day our focus was on that versus looking at the differences. Oh, man. That's another subject, right? And by sharing spiritual growth, we become more spiritual. And this is not a religious message, right? This is about spirituality, man. This is about being kind. This is about being honest. This is about being fair. This is about being empathetic. This is about just being a human being considerate of other people, right? Right? I mean, I used to hear spiritual principles and I'm like, oh, man, I got all crazy. But, man, it's really just some simple ways of living that bring love to people, right? So I had 3 things, and dealing with a difficult situation. So one of the things, we'll start with this, and I've learned to take responsibility for my part. If there's something going on, if I'm having a difficult conversation or we're in a imbalance, right, we're on separate ends of the table. I just use my wife as an example, right? I mean, I learned so much from her. I practice these things. We try to practice these things together. And so, it's like, okay, something blows up, something goes wrong. All right. I don't point the finger. I point the finger. I do, but I point it back at me. What did I do wrong? Right. Kind of write down, I put my actions or attitudes. How were they? How was my actions and how was my attitude? Did I create the environment? Right. Am I the one that hit a nerve with somebody because I was grumpy or because I had something going on in my mind that I hadn't gotten self straightened out about, or I brought, life into work or work into my relationship, right? And so what's going on with me? What's going on with you, right? Before you point your finger at the person that's supposed to be so difficult, that difficult person, right? What's going on with you? There's this thinking that's got you going like, spinning around in circles, right? I'm going to find somebody to be mad at today. Somebody's going to get the blunt of what I'm going through. Man, I've done all those different things, man. I know what it's like, right? I mean, but man, think about just doing this one thing. Look at yourself first. Take a little inventory of your own behaviors and then ask yourself the question, is it really me, right? And for those of you just dropping in, we're talking about difficult people and just giving 3 things around what I believe are too simple to pass up and easy to use. We all have our opinions about them, right? So number 1, just kind of take personal inventory and take a responsibility and look at yourself about it, right? Especially you fellas out there, listen, I'm going to tell you something. This is what I know for sure. And I'm no expert, but I've done it long enough times to know that I can share this information, right? And that is, man, look, make sure that when I'm talking about relationship with spouse or partner or whatever, make sure, right, that you're not, if something comes along and it feels like it's going to be difficult, make sure you're not assuming the outcome, right? Take a deep breath. and be prepared to listen to your spouse or your partner, right? Don't, if she says something or he says something and it hits the nerve, that's okay. Don't respond, right? Take the responsibility. At the end of the day, what you both want, I hope it's the same thing. And that's to grow together, to create that environment. My wife and I talk about it all the time, about that epic environment, right? Being able to encourage, right? Ooh, boy, praise, inspire, and compliment. Man. So are you being epic or are you being a baby, fellas? I'm just going to ask the fellas, are you being epic? Are you being considerate? Are you taking the heat? I mean, maybe you don't deserve it, but if it gets to the end result where you can get some calm and get some solutions going on, then take it, right? Anyway, I should have a conversation around that, right? I see so many guys that are just like, man, blaming them. You get the picture, right? Okay, so number 2, look at it from their point of view, and I've kind of talked a little bit about that, right? Maybe what's going on in their world, right? Because we all got crap going on, man. We all have things that are stinging us, that are hurting our feelings, that are challenging us, and we got the stinking thinking going on, and we're either in what I love to talk about, we're either in the comeback phase, right? We're either in that battle, right? And we're winning and losing, or we're just getting started in a new one, or we're finishing it up. So everybody got crap, right? So who are you to judge? Who are you to be the one? Let's be somebody different. Let's be epic in our behavior, right? Look at it from their point of view. Forgive rather than be forgiven. Seek to forgive rather than be forgiven. Come on, man. Hey, I forgive you. I'm sorry. Learn how to say I'm sorry. That was a hard word for me to say. I thought I was pretty flexible with it. As long as it was going my way, I would say I'm sorry. But when I really screwed up, saying I'm sorry wasn't easy. But it is today, right? And what else did I have in here? And seek to understand. We hear it all the time rather than be understood. When we're looking at it from their point of view, if we're really trying to get to the solution, if we're really trying to get to the next level, and if it's a relationship or on the job or someone on the street is having a problem, man, don't be so focused on what it is that you need to say so they understand you. That's a whole nother conversation. Should I go? No. But listen, make sure you have some compassion, right? Put their glasses on you, step into their shoes, whatever that saying is. Man, it makes a difference. And I had something like that with my granddaughter, just as an example of this stuff, right? And she was, we were doing something back and forth, and then she hit a nerve, and I said some things like, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, I couldn't get the words back fast enough, right? How many times you say something and the words just get out of your mouth and you can't get them back, and you're like, oh my God, what did I just say that for? Well, I did that in that situation, and then I realized later I didn't do what I'm telling you. She had some other stuff going on, right? And she told me about it later, but had I been the one that was looking at my role in the conversation and communication, it would have been a lot different. Hey, she still loves me. I'm still her pop. We can learn from our kids, baby. Remember that. The third one, and this one is one that's like, man, this is just a Jeff-ism, right? Find some ways to help them, right? If you're able to, if it's not threatening to you, if it's something that you really want to do, find some ways to help them, man. Offer some solutions to the problem. And how do you get to that? By doing number 1. If they're difficult and they're challenging and they're abrasive, you really are not being blatantly disrespected. Okay, I mean there's some boundaries around all this stuff. I'm just talking about in a normal situation, a relationship at home. I share a couple with my wife and my granddaughter, or people at work, right, or strangers in the street, right. I mean, I think I shared about in the bookstore with this guy that was challenging me on the table, but then that was a crazy situation, man. And I wasn't seeing his point of view at all. I'll be honest. Anyway, it's practice. We're not perfect at this situation, right? So find ways to help them. Remember this. It's not your job to change them or please them, right? What I mean by please them, by giving up your own boundaries to do this, right? I'm not talking about that. We're not here to change people. We're not here to please people. We're here to do what's the next right thing in this thing called life and assume some responsibilities, right? Think of it from where they're coming from, what life is going on, because you don't know, man. I mean, I see these people on the highway and they're cutting each other off and doing all this crazy stuff, man. I'm thinking, man. And then I see them at the next red light. And then, and they haven't gotten any further. It's like something's going on. There's a lot of anger in the world. There's a lot of division in the world. There's a whole lot of suspect stuff that we can't control, but we get psyched up around it, right? And people are just having a hard time. And no, your job's not to let them bully you or push you over. But I tell you, sometimes that saying, kill them with kindness, it works, right? And I'll be the first to tell you that, I haven't always been this gracious around stuff. You hit me the wrong way with something, and I'm going to make sure you understand I was the wrong guy to do that to. But today I know something that's really important. We have a responsibility. Those of us out there who say we mean to make this world a better place. Those of us out there that understand the power of unity, the power of serving, and and I know there's a whole lot of people out there that feel this way. That's not going to be easy. And I'll tell you this as I wrap this thing up. I got anything else on here? Let's remember, we're all human beings. We all have desires, and we all have space on this planet that is destined for our own. So let's begin to be more empathetic. Let's show more compassion. Let's challenge ourselves in these times of difficulty. When someone hit the nerve and you're ready to react rather than respond appropriately, just remember what's going on in their world. Man, there's been some crazy stories going on. People and they show up to work. People show up to work after losing their loved ones. People show up to work after getting abused at home. People show up to work. All kinds of things go on, man. Just remember that. And remember this. It's our responsibility to take care of ourselves. And more importantly, to begin to learn how to serve others in a way that helps strengthen them, in a way that helps satisfy our responsibility as human beings. Right? And the stinking thinking no longer has to run the show. And life is about getting through the comeback, baby. It's just part of it. So all of you out there that are in this space called life and you're doing all you can and you're still having some struggles, keep moving forward, man. Right? Change how your conversation you're having with yourself, give yourself a new message each and every day, a new message throughout the day, a new message at the end of the night. I'm grateful for the day that I had. Man, look at who I served. Look at what happened. I responded in a way that, find something good that you did in the day and celebrate that. And learn from the things you didn't do good that day and celebrate that. Like I told my wife just this morning, we were talking, hey, she said, hey, I'm going through some things, growth things that aren't easy, but I'm doing it, baby. And I said, yes, you are, man. So you too out there, reach out to me. I got my little calendar link going across the bottom right there. And let's have a conversation for those of you out there that need more information. I say, hey, Jeff, man, I've been following you for a while. Let's get together, man. I think you can help me with some things. I am that person. So I encourage you as I wrap it up today. Remember, that difficult person could be you. And how would you want to be treated? And if you haven't treated people nicely, you can always go back and say, I'm sorry, right? Give me another shot. I'll do better next time. It's a practice. It's a process. You don't get better overnight. You get better over time, right? So listen, have a fantastic rest of the week, Tuesday. Man, month of September is coming up. In October, we got some really great guests getting scheduled in here. Some things are going to be changing. So I appreciate each and every one of you that keep showing up, keep sharing, subscribing, setting that notification bell. And remember this. You are destined for greatness. Don't let anything stop you from reaching your destiny. You shall not be denied, baby. Be epic, right? Be encouraging, praising, inspiring, and complimenting all those you meet. And see how your day is. Hey, listen, have a great day. Talk to you on the next episode. Take care now. Be epic, baby. Bye-bye.